So in last class what we discussed, so we discussed about currency conversion of collection. So how to use input and output parameters, right? Okay. So today we're going to discuss about how to implement deployment. It means nothing but so like moving to the production or moving to the live. Whatever the bots we have developed till now, where you are running, we are running in our local systems, right? So, but in real time, you are not going to run it in your local system. For only for the testing purpose, we will run it here. But if you want to move it to some servers, if you want to run it in a server, or if you want to run it in a live environment, or we will call it as a deployment, or so moving to production, then how to do that? Here, if you want to move your bot to production or if you want to move your bot to the live or servers, must and should you should have admin privileges. Then only you can able to perform these tasks. Otherwise, it's not possible. Generally, initially, like so when you joined in any organization, they are going to give like 2 to 3 months, they will give their only so developer rights only. So if you have developer access, you can't able to view all these options. Here if you can able to see, so control room, dashboard, and then release and system, all these things you can able to view, right? All are enabled for us. But so if you have only developer account, you will not have access to control room, dashboard, release and system. You can able to perform only the things in a studio only. You can able to create a what, that's it. You can able to create a objects, that's it. So other than that you can't able to do anything. So based on so your role, so they are going to give, so based on your seniority level or based on so the things, okay, in that organization they are going to give the admin privileges. Also depends on the so role, also they will also give the access rights. Okay, so where they are going to give all these things. So if you observe in system, observe this, I will tell you users. Now edit. Now observe the permissions, roles and permissions. See this. Now so here my permission is system administrator, right? I have all the access. See these permissions. I have permissions to access everything. Control room, dashboard, and then object studio, process alerts, and everything, right? Same way. So for example, so if they want to restrict only for the developers, see this. If I select only developer, only object studio, only process studio. Other than that, we can't able to do anything. Along with the developer, so you want to schedule, then they will give schedule. Along with the developer, you want to do so administrating things, process administrating, like moving the bots to control room, they can give that. So it depends on your so role. So generally, so if you want all the access, it will be admin. It will be system admin. You will get the all the access. Like that, they are going to create a users. They will give these user credentials to us. So we need to access based on these users. Okay. So now suppose if you have a admin rights or so you have a access to move your bot to the control room, then so how to move the bot to the servers, so how to run it. So here, so generally, so if you want to run here, so what we are doing, we are going to any process, we are opening any process, and then after that opening the process here, so just we are clicking on a go button, so it's running, right? So like this we are implementing here. But so if you want to move your bot to the control room or if you want to move your bot to production or servers, then so we have to implement so this process. Okay, so just understand this. What you need to do is first, whatever the bot, first step is whatever the bot you have published, it means whatever the bot you have developed, you need to publish that particular bot. You need to publish that bot or process. Same way, whatever the bots, whatever the objects you created in a object actions, we are publishing. If you want to use that in a process studio, right? If you publish your actions in object studio, then only we can able to use that in a process studio. the same way here, the bot you have created in a process studio, must and should you need to publish it. Then only you can able to see that in a control room. Once the bot is published, you can able to see that in control room. This control room option we are going to use it to deploy your bots, to move it to the server. Okay, in control room you can able to see available process. This means once the bot you publish there, then it will be in available process. Only published bots only you can able to see it here in a available process. And one more thing we have, available resources. Available resources. These available resources means nothing but servers, nothing but your servers. For example, so we need to run it in a development server, or we need to run it in a testing server, or we need to run it in a production server. So based on your thing, so you can able to see the things in your organization. So you can see the multiple servers, like 3 to 4 servers, or 2 to 3 servers it will be there. It depends on your organization. Okay, what you need to do is, whatever the bots it's available in a published process, see available process, published bots, you need to move it to available resources. That's it. You need to hold it and you need to drag and drop it. Then that bot will be moved to your servers. Then you can able to run it in a server side environment. Okay, but here what we have done, when we installed here, so we installed client and server both in a same machine. Okay, so client as well as servers we have installed in the same machine. So but in real time it will not be like that. So you are going to work with a client, server will be somewhere else. So you need to publish if you want to run that in your servers. Now I will show you, and after that, okay, once you move it to the server, then you can able to see that in environment. So it means the bot is readily available to run in a server environment. If the bot is moved to the environment, once you move to the server, then it's readily available in your environment. So then we are going to run that in a environment. In environment is nothing but your server environment. Here we will have bot statuses. Bot status, those are pending. Pending means it's readily available to run in a server. That is nothing but pending. We'll call it as a pending. And completed. Completed means it's successfully executed. And terminated. If the bot is having any issue, if it is terminated, then if it is closed, or if it is throwing any error in between, it has stopped, then we will get a status of terminated. All these statuses we can able to see that in a environment is nothing but in your servers. Now we will see where you can able to see all these things. Now come to BluePrism. Observe this control room, right? Click on a control room. Observe what all the options you can able to see it here. Available process, see this, available process, available resources, and then environment, right? Here available process, whatever the bots you published, those bots only you can able to see it here, not everything, not every bot which you created. And right hand side, this one is your server here, available resources. So here we installed only in one system, so you can able to see only one in real time. So you can able to see, in your organizations when you are working, you can able to see 2 to 3 servers where you need to move. So we have to decide, and then based on the requirement we are going to implement. Once it is moved to the server, then you can able to see that in a environment here in the environment. Now we will see how to publish a bot, how to schedule, move this bot to the server, and then how to run it in a server. Now come to studio. For example, so we need to run this bot in a server. This particular calculation 7 process. If you want to do that, so this is process information box, right? Just double click on it. You will get an option called, say this, publish this process to control room. Click on that. That's it. Click OK. Once it is published, you can able to see that check mark here. See this tick mark here. It means the bot has been published. Bot is published. Now save this one. Now you can able to see this in your available process. Let me refresh. Published. Log out and log in. Come to the control room. Observe this. Now we can able to see our folder here. Previously we can't able to see this folder, right? Under this folder, which one we have published? Observe the process. This process we published, right? Now select the process. If you want to move it to a server, if you observe this server is offline. It has to be connected. So now it is connecting. Now it has been connected. If it is not connected, just select that and then refresh it. Refresh it. Automatically it will be connected. Now this bot, we need to move it to server. What you have to do is just hold it and drag and drop onto the server and release it. That's it. As simple as that. See this, the bot. So the bot which you have moved, it came to your environment. It means this bot is readily available to run in server now. Now if you want to run this, select this bot and then right click. You have an option called start. Okay, before starting, observe the status of this bot. What it says? Pending. It says that pending, right? So it means it's readily available to run. So it is a pending. If you want to run this bot, right click and then start. So just a minute. See this? Did you open any other window? No, right? You didn't open any other window. Now, so here we are in control room. Just right click and then start it. See this? It completed. Where it ran? In the backend in the server. So it's not running in your front end in your studio, right? It's ran in server. And if you want to see the result, how to check the result? See this? Right click and then view log file. You will get an option to view log file. This log file, it will give you the information of each and every stage what is happening in your process. Each and every stage what is happening, you can able to see that in a log file. Okay, and once you ran your bot in your server one time, if you want to run it again and again, so for example, assume that you need to, so we need to run a bot every day morning 9 a.m. So every Monday to Friday morning 9 a.m. we need to run a bot. Then how to do that? See this, once you run a bot in the server, you can't able to run that bot again in a control room. See this, in a servers. Do you have an option to start? We don't have, right? Select this bot and then observe this start selection is there, right? Click on a start selection. What it says? Cannot start calculations because it's already completed. So if you want to run it again what you need to do is, again you need to pull this bot to your server and then it will come to this environment. Then you can able to run. But every day, so if you want to run at the same time, do you want to do it manually every day? Then one person has to sit for this and then he has to, every time he has to move the bot to server and then you have to trigger, right? instead of this, we have an option called scheduling. We will call that as a scheduling options. We can able to schedule our bots at specific period of time or regular interval of the time. If you want to run every day, we can able to run. If you want to run so in every monthly once, we can able to do that. Monthly twice or in the day, so on regular intervals, 2 hours once, 3 hours once. If you want to run the bot, we can able to run. All these options it's available in scheduling. If you want to schedule any bot, so what we need to do is, first we need to create schedule name. schedule name Once you create a schedule, for this schedule name we need to assign a time. Once you assign a time, schedule time, it means schedule time. Once you assign the schedule time for schedule name, for this schedule name and then for this schedule time, we need to assign bot. We need to assign a process or bot. So this is the approach what we have to do. First we need to create a schedule name, and then for the schedule name we need to assign the time. For the time and then for the schedule name we are going to assign your bot or process. Now we'll see that. Observe this, what you can able to see it here, schedules, right? Okay, so here, so already one schedule is available, so previously which I created, so we'll so remove that. Just a minute, delete that one. Okay, now if you observe in the schedule, do you have any schedules here? Nothing. You can't able to see anything, right? If you want to create any new schedule, first we need to create a schedule name. Observe this, new schedule, right click on the schedule and then click on new schedule. So it will ask you to create a schedule name. So we'll give May SCH schedule. And then next we created a schedule name. What we need to do next, see this, we need to assign a time for that schedule. Now, do you want to run hourly, or do you want to run daily, or do you want to run monthly? You can select any option. So based on our requirement, we are going to select, see this, for example, if you want to run daily, so every 1 day. So do you want to run every 1 day or every 2 days once or every 3 days once? It will be. So it's up to our requirement. So if you want to run in every hour, so every 1 hour or every 2 hours, so how many hours once it has to trigger? See this, you can so change this time, whatever it may be. So every 9 hours it will run once, or every 3 hours it will start at this time, and then so it will run so every 4 hours once. Now it will be like that. Okay, or you need to run monthly, you can select the monthly option. You have a number of options here, yearly, monthly, and then weekly, and then so here once. So by default it will be once, it will run only once. So but so hourly or daily. So let's okay, create a schedule for daily once. Click on a daily, and see this, we want to run the schedule for 5 days. After that we don't want to run every day. It has to run at specific period of time only for 5 days. After that we don't want to run, we want to stop. Then what we can do is, we have a option called expires on. Expires on, observe this, we have a option, right? So this option we are going to use so to expire on, when it has to expire. So for example, I will give, so for next 31st. Okay, so it will so expire, and after that click on apply changes. Apply changes, it means a schedule has been created. See this, May SCH here, the left hand side, May SCH, May schedule. So new schedule has been created. For this schedule you need to assign your bot. See this, schedule name. For this, remember, only published bots only we can able to schedule. Only published bots only we can able to move it to the server, right? The same way, only published bots only we can able to move it to the server. So normally when you are moving the bot, so you can able to see available process, available resource, and here environment, right? Previously you can able to see environment here, but now here you can able to see only scheduled sessions. Instead of environment, you can able to see scheduled session here. So now we'll try to move this bot to control room. Say this to the server, just move it. Now it came to the scheduled session. Observe this one. This bot came to scheduled session, which means it has been published, and then so it's moved to the server and it has been scheduled for that specific period of time. If you observe here, come to the schedule. See this, May SEH at that specific period of time. So this time, so every time, every day, so if the time comes, so automatically it is going to so run. See this. So how many days? Up to here, up to here. So after that, so we tell that so it has to expire. If you want to run continuously, so then so what you have to do? So you have to so uncheck this one, never ending. Then it will run continuously. Okay, so assume that you have scheduled a bot. Okay, so it's running in a production. The client says that so we need some enhancements in that same particular process. Then so they will ask that you need to hold that particular schedule for some 1 week or 2 days, 1 week or so 1 month, whatever it may be. Then what we have to do is we have a option called retire schedule. Retire schedule. Now observe this. Let it be. Observe this. Right click. What is the option we have? Retire schedule option, right? If you click on a retire, then it will be retired. You can't able to see that under the schedule. See this. Now in the schedule you can't able to see anything because whatever the schedule it has been created, it has been retired. Okay, now so after 1 month you need to enable that again. Then we can use unretire option, retire or unretire. See this, unretire. Again it came to the schedules. See this, again it came to schedules. It will be like that. We can able to create a schedule, and then we can able to retire a schedule, and then we can able to unretire schedule based on your so requirement. Okay, so again going forward we will discuss more on this when we are working with a so queues concept. We'll discuss this in how to so create dependency bots, how to create dependency schedules. Like first process 1 has to run, next process 2 has to run, next process 3 has to run. We can able to create a schedules. And remember one thing, so this schedule time always it will follow UTC time zone, not your local time zones. Always it will be followed UTC time zones. So if you when they are installing your BluePrism in your organizations, by default they are going to set up that so server time instantly with the UTC. It will follow UTC time zone. If you give local time here also, so our systems are configured with, suppose this system is configured with IST time. So I have given a IST time. Even though when it is scheduled, when it is running, automatically the BluePrism will convert this time to so UTC time zone. I will show you when we are working with differ until concept, so how it is going to pick the time, then you can able to understand more clearly. Okay, so this is about schedule. Okay, so if you want to implement a schedule, or if you want to move your bots to control room, must and should you should have admin rights, right? You should have admin rights, then only you can able to do that. Otherwise it's not possible. Okay, so let's assume that you don't have admin rights, so we are all are working in under so one team, so no one is having admin rights in our team. Assume admin is sitting in so US or UK or Singapore, whatever it may be. Okay, we need to give our bots to admin, so they have to deploy it. Then how to do that? Whatever the bots we created in our machines, so we have to give it to that admin. So we need to so give the permissions to them. Okay, to move this bot to the control room, we need to request them. Then how to do that? Generally, if you want to share any of your process, or any of your bots, we have an option called export and import options. You can export the bot, and if you give that bot to the other guy, they can able to import that bot in the form of XML files. Okay, only in XML files we can able to export and import. This XML means extensible markup language. Okay, so now we'll show you so how we are going to import and export. But remember, this import and export we will use only for your local backup. Whatever the bot you have developed today, if you want to take a backup of that particular thing, you can take a local backup by using XML. But we will not follow this XML concept for giving the bots to some other admin or giving the bots to some other developer. We are not going to follow this option. So for that we have a other option called release file. We will discuss that. Now I will show you so how to work with the XML files. Whatever the bots we created here, we can able to export and we can able to import everything. Observe this. Studio, go to studio, or so all the bots we have, right? Whatever the bots we created here, so we can able to so export as a XML, and then if you give that bot to some other person, they can import it. Every bot will come to their machine. Okay, so it's like, see this, how to do that. Go to file, export. See this, what it is asking, process or object, which one you need to export, process or object. If you want to export a process, select the process, or if you want to export a object, select the object. So any thing, so sometimes if you are so implementing any process, so let's assume that Notepad or calculator process, what we have done, we have a object as well as we have a process, right? Then we need to give two XML files if you want to move it, right? So let's assume that, so let's take a process. So which process you want to export, select that process and then click on next, and then select the browse option. You need to mention where you need to export where you have to export this. Now desktop, let it be, and then select save. Now observe this, it's in the form of XML files, right? .xml. Okay, now next finish. It will create into your desktop. See this, BPA process calculation.xml. This one has been created. The same process, if I give it to you, then you can able to import that file and import. Select the browse option, and then go to your desktop, and then select the process, which process you need to import. Select open. See this, importing from them. Next. So because it is already available, that's why it's asking override. So now let it be next. Now that bot will be imported from the particular XML file. Now once it's imported, you can able to see that in your process. If you import object, you can able to see that in your object studio. If you import process studio, it will be in the process studio. If you import object studio, it will be in object studio. Okay, assume that you can so able to give these XML files, right? Or you can keep this, you can import and export this XML file, you can keep it in a one shared drive, so then everyone can able to access whoever it is, so whoever want, right? But assume that if the process contains schedule, then can you able to give that? Suppose in previous example we have schedule, we have created a schedule, right? Previously we created a schedule. If the process contains schedule, then we can't able to give it in a XML file. If the process contains queues, we can't able to do it. If the process contains credentials, or if the process contains environment variables, So we'll discuss. So now going forward, we are going to discuss all these things. If the process contains schedule, we can't able to give that schedule. If the process it contains queues or credentials or environmental variables, you can't able to give it in a XML format. XML is only for your process and only for your object to take your local backups, but you can't able to use it for giving the bots to the admin or giving the bots to some other person. For example, if you give this XML file, they can import it into their machines. Let's say admin can import it into their machines. They can, once it is done, process will come to process and object will come to object. But what about the schedule? He has to create it again. He has to rework. What about the environmental variables? He has to create it again. Instead of that, we have an option called release file. Release file option. It will be in the form of .bp release files. .bp release files. Always remember this. We have to give your bots in the form of release files. In interviews also they will ask sometimes. So how you are going to give your bots to your admin, or so if you want to deploy your bot, or process, so in the which format you are going to give the files to the admin person. You have to tell .bp release file format. Don't tell that XML format. .xml also is available, but we will never follow XML format because process and object only we can able to give by using XML. But we need all these things, schedules and then queues, variables, whatever it contains, whatever we have created for that particular process, everything we have to give. So we will follow release file concept. Okay, what it mean by that? So this release file, it contains as a complete package. It contains a complete package. For example, any travel package means what it mean by that? If you want to travel somewhere, so you will enroll to the some packages, right? It means including travel, including for example accommodation, food, and then local trips and all those things, right? It's including everything. It contains as a package. The same way here, this package, it contains process, objects, or schedules if you have schedules, or if you have queues, or if you have variables, environmental variables, or if you have credentials, and so on. So everything it will create it in one package. This particular package, you are going to create only one release file. One release file for everything. Only one release file for all the above. But if you want to do it, in XML format you have to give separate XML for process, separate XML for object. But here for everything only one release file. If you create a release file, if you give that release file to the admin, so once you imported, process will distribute it to process, object will come to the object, schedule will come to the schedule, queue will come to the queue, variable will come to the variable. So it will distribute into different places. Simple as that. So now we'll show you how to work with a release file, how to create a package. So if you want to create a package, first what we need to do is, we need to configure package. After that we need to create a package. After creating the package, we can able to create a release file. After that release file we can able to create. First we need to configure. After that we need to, once you configure means what all the things we required for that package, and then we need to create a package with that configuration, and then once the package is created, we can able to create a release files. Always remember, we are going to give release files to any other person, not the XML files. Okay, so now observe this, how to do that. See this, we have a release option here, right? Release. Click on the release. If you want to create a new release, right click. First you need to create a package. Choose the package name. Give package name as Next, you can give description. Next, observe this configure package. What we need to do first, we need to configure package. It means what all the things you required for this package. You can select it from here. So this from process, I need this one, and from object for that particular thing, so I need. Okay, so what I will do is I will create a release file. So till now, so whatever the things we have created, okay, so complete folder. So then once you import it, so today I will so send it to you guys. So once you import it, whatever the thing we have done here, everything will come to your machine. Now this folder object, right? See this complete thing. And after that, so for example, if it contains schedule, we created some schedule, right? See this like this, new schedule. If the process is contains environmental variables, you can pull it. If the process contains, if this contains so credentials, you can able to pull it, and everything it will be here. And then you are going to use this. Click on the next. That's it. Now observe this package has been created, and then finish. Done. Now observe may come to this. What you can able to see here, what all the things you have created here, you can able to see each and everything. See this process object, at the same time we have a schedule also, right? Process object and schedule. So if you called environmental variable, it will be available. If you so selected so credential, it will be available. And then see the option here, what it says, create new release. Create new release. So we have to create a so release here. See this, click on that release, and then we need to give the name. May new, given new, right? Otherwise I will mention date, today date 24. Now next, and answer this May 24 dot bpRelease. This release file it will be created now. Click on next, and so release file has been created. Now finish it. Now if you go to the desktop, now release has been created. If you go to desktop, now observe this release file is available. So if I give this release file to you, so if you import this release file into your system, process will distribute it to process, object will distribute it to object, and then so your schedule will come to schedule, and then whatever the things it contains, everything it will distribute it into the respective places. And one more advantage of the release file is, for example, assume that so to maintain versions we will use release files here. Okay, whatever the things we have developed till today, okay, so assume that so we have to move it to the control room or move it to the server. Then we will create one release file for this, release file for this with today's date. So for example, assume that 24. Okay, and after some enhancements, so client has given some other enhancements, we are implementing that enhancement in that particular process. Okay, again we need to this enhancement, it has to go to your production. Then again we are going to create so new version with a new name. For example, release file underscore, let's assume that so this one will be around so 30 date. Okay, now so this one you have given it to your admin, so they have deployed it. Now it has been moved it into the production. Now it is running. Assume that if you have any so issues for this particular new release file, if it is not working fine in a production, so it is facing some issues, then we have to revert it back to your old version, right? Or so old so changes. So whichever the changes is for previous changes is working fine, but they need enhancements on top of that. We have done the enhancements, but it is not so running as expected. It is not giving the result as expected in a production environment. then what we have to do, we have to go back to the previous version, right? That's why we are going to maintain all the release files. Whenever you are moving your bots to production, every time we are going to mention with the date. It will be like that. For example, 24, 05, and then 2018. Then we can able to understand when it has been, when this release file has been created, and then when it has been deployed. It will be like this. Then these are older one, this is the newer one with the date extension. So all the release files will be available here. How many release files you are going to create it here? See this here, right? If I click on again, new release, see this, this May 24 we have one release file with this date, right? If I try to click another release file here, May, new, new, observe this, what is happening, same, May, new, next, finish. Now observe this. Here only you can able to see both the releases, right, with the date and then time as well. So this one is the newer one, this one is the older one, right? So you can able to pick the release, so which release file you want, right? So like this we can able to create a releases, so to maintain versioning, to maintain versioning. Okay, this is the concept of versioning. So don't get confused in any interviews if they ask what is the concept of versioning in a BluePrism, or how you are going to maintain versions before moving the bots to production. We are going to use this release file concepts. Don't get confused. Okay. So now, what are the things we have discussed today? So we discussed about how to work with a control room, how to move your bot to the deployment, right? So deployment is nothing but moving the bot to your server. So you are running, so till now what we are doing, we are running in your local system, right? So if you want to move it to the server, so we have to take a help of control room. But if you want to move your bots, must and should, you should have admin privileges, then only we can able to do that. Not everyone will get the admin access. Okay, so it depends on the team. So if you are a senior person in the team, so for example, if you are 5 or 6 developers, 1 or 2 persons will get these rights to move your bots to the control room, or to move your bots to the server. So in control room, so what all the options is available? If you observe here, see this: available process, available resources, and environment. Available process, resources means it's nothing but server here. So we can't able to install more than one here, so only one server you can able to see it. But in real time you can able to see 2 to 3 servers, so based on your requirement. So development one server, testing one server, production one server, it will be like that. Okay, whatever the bots you published, only that bot only you can able to move it to the control room. So how to publish the bot? So go to studio, select any process. For example, the double click on the process, double click on the process information box, click on the publish and click OK. Once you published here, and then if you save it, then you can able to see that in a control room. That's it. All published bots only you can able to see that in control room. If you come to control room and observe this, the published bots, right? Now the published bots only you can able to move it to resources. So now you have to drag and drop and then release on the resource. Once you drag and drop and release on resource, you can able to see it in the environment. It means it's readily available to run. What are the statuses we have here? Pending, completed, and terminated. Pending means it's readily available to run. Terminated means it has some issues. Okay, so and then if it is completed means it's completed successfully. And one more thing, if you run once in your server, you can't able to run again and again. The same bot you can't able to run again and again, because you will not have option for that. See this, we started it, it's running, and completed, again if you want to run it again, that option has been disabled, right? You can't able to do that. If you want to run it again and again you have to move your bot, right? Instead of that, what we can able to do, so we can able to schedule. We have a option called schedule, right? So we have to do that schedule. Scheduling, how to create a schedule, we need to come to the schedule and right click. First we need to create a schedule. We need to give the schedule name. We need to assign the time for the schedule. Once you assign the time and schedule name, then the schedule will be here. So for that particular schedule, you need to assign that specific bot. From always only published bots only you can able to schedule. Only published bot only you can able to move it to the server. The same way, only published bots only you can able to move it to your schedule. Okay. So this is the scheduling. And then release file, why will follow release file? If you want to give your bots to some admin, or if you want to send it to some other person, so must and should we have to create a release file. At the same time, for to maintain versioning also, we are going to use this release files. So, okay, it's a concept of things. Okay, so next class we are going to discuss about how to work with the environmental variables. Before that, we will see how to work with email automation, and then we'll see how to environmental variable credentials, and these things we will discuss. Okay, so any questions in this class? Anyone? Okay, so release files, so what you have to do is come to release, here release option. We need to create a release file. It contains with a complete package: process, object, schedule, if you have credentials, if you have environmental variables, everything it contains. So generally if you use XMLs, each and every file it will be individual. For process, one XML file; for object, another XML file. It will be there. But here, when a release file, all the files together, everything together in only single file only: process, XML, and everything. So process, object, schedule, credentials, environmental variable, everything in a one file. So to create that release files, we have to right click. We need to create a package first. So package means it contains everything. If you observe here, so if you give some any name, and then if you click on this, see this, all these things we will create under a package. We can pull everything, and then for example, process, we need a process, any one process. You can pull everything whatever you want. Same way, you need a object for the process, and then you need a queue for the process. You can pull it, and then for that process you have environmental variable. For that process you created schedule. You can create, and then you can click on a next. The package will be created. See this package. So this contains everything, right? Everything is in a single file. If you click on a release file, then file will be created with some extension. The file will be created. This file, if you click on a next, and then it will be created with that name extension .bpRelease file. This release file you are going to send it to your admins whenever you want. And at the same time, this release file you are going to keep it in your shared drives, or if your organization is maintaining any version controlling tools, SVN, or like Tata is, then they are going to keep these release files in that particular SVN. Also most of the time we will do it into the shared paths. Okay, all the release files will be available in shared paths. Whenever you want, we can access from shared paths, and then we can import it. This is the concept of release file. So Kuzma, you said some questions, right? You asked me some questions. Okay, so just a minute. I will give the control to you. Show me what is happening. So when you are automating Gmail, I will explain. Just a minute. I'll make you as a presenter. Can you share your screen? You will get a download request. Click on that. After that, you can share your screen. Okay. Sorry. Yes, Srilata. Seth, I will give it to you. I will make you as a presenter. Okay. Show me that. So what you are doing? Can you open that process? Okay. So you are working with Gmail, right? So Gmail automation. Okay. So what you have to do is when you are working with Gmail, so you have to disable some security levels. I will show you. So after that you can try that. Okay. So go to your Gmail. Go to your Gmail once. Gmail account. Log into your Gmail, so which you are trying to automate. Here, so go to account settings. So right hand side you have like icon, right? Click on that icon. No, sign out option will come, right? Where you are getting sign out option. Yeah, here account is there, right? Click on my account. My account. Yes, click on that. Okay. So here sign in and security option is there, right? Click on that option. So scroll down here. Scroll down to the end. Scroll down. Scroll down completely. Yeah, one second. One second. So little bit more. More. Okay. So allow, see this, allow layer secured apps, it is off, right? It should be on. So if you are trying to access your Gmail through BluePrism, so it should be on. So because the BluePrism will access your Gmail. So if you try to on this. Okay, so always it should be on. So when you are trying to automate. Okay, so it's like security levels, right? So different applications when you are trying to automate. So we need to disable the security levels. So then only we can able to access that. Okay, so otherwise not possible. So now try it. Okay, so if you are also getting the same issues, we will see that. Okay.
Okay, Dinesh.
Okay, thank you. So any other questions, anyone?